Hey folks, this is McLean33 bringing you another video here. Today, this is going to be a rather unique video. I wanted to kind of show off my setup here as far as a solar generator portable battery pack goes. This is the EB3A. There are a million videos out there on YouTube showing everything about this lovely device and what it can and cannot do. This video is going to actually prove a point of something that is almost too much for this battery to handle, but it actually could do it, believe it or not. So recently I saw a video from a YouTuber named Off Grid Basement, and he posted a video of trying to make some mac and cheese with a induction cooktop and an EB3A from Bluetti. And in that video he claimed, oh, it can't be done, and he kind of got another battery device that was bigger and more powerful and had 1,000-watt capability to actually cook it and make a meal. In my scenario, this is the only device I own. I don't have another battery pack, so I won't be able to do that. So if it can't cook it on here, then it really is, this device, it really means that this device is too small to actually output the energy to actually cook a meal of mac and cheese. However, in this scenario, I am going to show you that it is technically possible to do. However, there are some limitations to keep in mind. First of all, the EB3A needs to be using powerlifting mode. You cannot use the regular mode because although this is 600 watts, and although this induction cooktop is 600 watts, or has a setting for that, 600 and 600, it doesn't actually work out that way. This uses a little bit more power because it has an inverter, and when this is at 600, it's actually drawing a little bit more than 600 watts, so it actually conks out and it goes to overload mode. So if you don't have powerlifting mode on, it will not work, and that is a known fact. But in this video, I'm going to show you that with powerlifting mode on, this device will actually work. Now, officially, Bluetti says, and this is their disclaimer, do not use powerlifting mode, only for resistive heating devices. Do not use it for induction devices, etc. However, I have determined that it is actually safe to do this for this specific type of induction cooktop. I can't vouch for all induction cooktops out there, but this specific brand from Nuwave, this induction cooktop will work safely without damaging anything. So first of all, what we want to do to get started here, before I do any of that, I do want to show you that we have my favorite brand, Annie's, or Annie's mac and cheese, whatever it's called. And we have some pots. Now, obviously this is an induction cooktop, so you need a pot that is induction capable. And until recently, I only ever had a massive frying pan that obviously is way too large for this, and this is not the right thing to be using on this type of small device. So clearly, that pan will not work. I also have this small little saucepan, but you're not going to be able to cook mac and cheese in something this small unless you, I don't know, maybe you want 2 bites of mac and cheese. Maybe that's doable. But for a full meal, you're not going to be able to do it. So I went ahead and got another induction pot. And this is a 3-quart pot here that already has 6 cups of water as listed in the instructions on here. The 6 cups of water, you bring it to a boil. So this already has 6 cups of water in there. 3-quart pot. And we're going to prove that this is not, a joke or anything. I'm not cheating here. I'm not using hot water. So currently it's 70 degrees in my home. And we're going to put it here. And the water is 78. That is completely normal. I am in Florida. This came right from the tap. It is hot outside. So seeing this at 81 degrees is actually completely normal and fully expected. So this is not cheating in any way. Again, to prove my point, there's no gimmicks here. It's showing you exactly from start to finish how this works. Now, before we go ahead and start with that, there's one other thing I want to show you, and that's going to be the owner's manual for the Nuwave. If you go to page 16 on here, it actually has something that explains about some error codes. Now, if you look on here, it shows like E1 to E9, something about full. But what we're actually interested in is E3 and E4. This device, because it's designed for campers in mind, it's actually made to operate between 144 volts and 85 volts. So when the voltage drops below 85, you get an E3 that flashes here on screen. And when the voltage is above 144 volts, you'll get an E4 that will flash here on screen. I have personally never seen an E4 flash on here, so I don't believe the EB3A goes above 144 volts, but the E3 you'll see constantly on here that will flash. Another thing about this Nuwave device I should mention, it has internally in here a little buzzer like speaker that you would find like in a PC or something like that. It has a little buzzer. I went ahead, opened this device up and physically removed that because that thing is incredibly annoying. It will constantly keep going off every few seconds. It'll beep, beep, beep every time that E3 area code shows up. And it just makes it annoying to even use this device with the EB3A battery. And I went ahead, like I said, and removed that. So this is nice and quiet. The only thing you're going to hear on here is a fan. There is a built-in cooling fan. You'll hear it turn on and off, and that's completely normal when it comes to induction cooktop devices. So with that being said, in this introduction here, like I said, you'll see when powerlifting mode is on, it does lower the voltage below 85 for a split second, and it'll throw that E3 code. However, the EB3A then increases the voltage so that code goes away, and this continues operating normally without issue. Again, all induction cooktops are designed a little bit differently, so I can't vouch for others, but at least this brand from Nuwave, again, not sponsored or anything, not sponsored by Bluetti, not sponsored by Nuwave. This video I'm making no money off of. Just wanted to show you that it is indeed possible to cook mac and cheese using this device. So we're gonna have a jump cut here. I'm gonna go ahead and start the EB3A. And I'm going to enable powerlifting mode within the app, and we're going to set this device to the correct settings and get started. So stay tuned. Okay, folks, powerlifting mode is enabled on the app. We have the device plugged in. It's already turned on. And as you can see here, it actually is saying it's throwing 44 watts. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but what we are going to do here on the Nuwave, obviously we have our pot on top, and we are going to set this wattage button to 600. By default, it always starts at 1300 watts. So we don't want that. We actually want this at 600 watts. Again, EB3A is fully on, and we are starting at 100% capacity. Keep that in mind. We're going to see at the end of this how much is it really going to drain. Is it going to drain it all? Is it going to drain it to 50%? Will it go maybe 30%? We'll see at the end how much power it actually uses and why you may or may not want to use this device to cook mac and cheese. It may actually kill the battery completely, but let's find out. So again, wattage 600. We are going to start low, and then we will work our way up. So low starts at 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Obviously that's not enough to boil water, but let's give it a start. What you will see on here is it will flash E3. And every time it flashes E3, if you don't remove that button, that speaker inside, it'll be beeping. So it'll be beep, beep, beep every time it does it, and it would be incredibly annoying. So again, I have removed that from this device. So we're going to close this up, put a lid on there, and we will wait to see how much time and energy it's going to take to get this water to boil. Since, as I already showed you, it's already at 98%, 100 degrees is not going to be enough. So we're just going to bump it up to medium. And medium is 275. That is more than enough to boil water. So let's go ahead and see. And I don't think it actually uses more energy. See, this says 425, but I believe it still keeps pulling the same amount from the 600 watt that it's designed for. On this mode, on the other modes in the manual, it actually says, like, if you use these certain settings, it's only drawing 600, medium, it'll draw 900, and high, it'll draw 1300 completely. But in this case, as you can see here on the EB3A, this is going up and down, so it is constantly fluctuating the wattage, or the voltage, I should say, and the watts also are changing when that voltage is increasing and decreasing. So this is good. Again, heating up. We'll leave this at high for now. Once it starts boiling, maybe we don't have to have it that much. So these buttons seem to decrease the temperature by 100. We could set it manually at 300 as well. Again, this E3 error that it keeps throwing, thankfully, it doesn't continuously like shut off. But again, just to show you guys that E3 in the manual, it shows when it's below 85 volts. So whenever you see this flash, it is actually hitting below that mark. But the device, because this is increasing it, the voltage, it still continues to work. All right, I will be back once again for another jump cut, and I'll show you the water boiling. All right, folks, we are at this point 5 minutes in, and it has already used 21% of the battery and continuously draining here. What I did in the meantime, I last had a 300. I just bumped it up to max just to see if anything unusual will occur or if this will completely shut off. It hasn't so far. Again, it's still at 600 watts, but I just left it at max. The fan has kicked in on the EB3A. The fan has kicked in, but nothing that's completely normal for that fan to kick in. But again, still no issues, nothing smoking or, you know, smelling like smoke in here or anything of it to be concerned about. It's operating completely normal. So is this device. Let's take a look at the water. I see bubbles forming. Very little bubbles, so we have a ways to go still. To be continued. Hey, folks, we are back, and it is now 13 minutes or so into the test. Just taking a look at this. Remember, we started at 100%. It is now down to 53%. We have used almost half the battery at this point, and it's still not yet boiling. If you can see in there, still not yet boiling. I don't know, folks. We might not be able to make that mac and cheese, but stay tuned. We will be back. Folks, we're about 17 and a half minutes in. We are down 40, now 39%. It is draining the battery so fast. It's unbelievable. We are still not having boiling, but I can feel the heat. The pot is quite hot at this moment, and we're starting to see bubbles form. But at this rate we're going, I believe this battery is going to be completely dead before this ever boils. But we'll see. I'll let it go down to the full 0% if necessary. To be continued. All right, folks, we're back. 21 and a half minutes. This is the longest mac and cheese in the world. Not good news. We are only about a quarter left on the battery before it's dead. And we are still trying to get this to boil. And it's just not there. It's just not there. I mean, it's somewhat boiling, but I mean, it's starting to get up to that heat. However, I think this battery is just a little too small, and it's not going to be able to do it. So, unfortunately, I guess I'm going to have to plug her into the mains to make my mac and cheese. All right, we will be back once again. All right, folks, we're back. We're 25 minutes in at this point. The battery is continuously draining. We have only 16% left. Still waiting for this to boil. Let's take a look. And as you can see, it's still not boiling. I don't think this is going to be doable, to be honest with you. 15% left. I will say at this point here in the video, I have been successful before using this pot, and I've boiled regular water with it and made myself some instant coffee. And I've also boiled some hard-boiled eggs, 2 hard-boiled eggs in there before. And those have been able to come out perfectly fine and well cooked. But when it comes to increasing, getting water up to 212 degrees Fahrenheit for boiling or 100 degrees Celsius, it takes a lot of energy to get it there. And the bigger the pot, more volume of water, it's just not going to be able to do it, not from a battery this small. Larger devices, sure. And also the powerlifting mode, I don't know if the powerlifting mode actually draws more battery juice essentially in this mode or not. It may not. I'm not sure, but the AC inverter certainly takes some power to do that, even if it wasn't on powerlifting mode. If it was on regular mode, which was pure sine wave mode, then it would still take some power to drain it. But as you can see, we're down to 10%, and we're nowhere near having our water boil. So unfortunately, I will finish this meal, but this is going to have to be plugged into the mains down there to finish. So in conclusion, really, it's technically, although it works for a larger meal like mac and cheese, you're not going to be able to do that, not without recharging this or having this plugged into solar. Maybe if you have this plugged into solar and had a lot of solar, maybe the maximum, up to close to 200 watts coming in, maybe you'll be able to put some more electricity in while in use. I don't know. But right now it's rather cloudy outside, so I wouldn't even be able to test this with solar, even if I wanted to. So, yeah, that's about all I could say, really. So, yes, it technically does work, but not really practical. And we're finally, look at that, folks. We're finally at boil, or what I would say is maybe the best we've seen so far, with 6% left. even with this water boiling now, if I threw this in, you need 8 to 10 minutes cooking time. So 8 to 10 after that, I'm not gonna have enough battery to get it up to that speed. So we will just let it go down to 0, and here's when it shows you low battery. I don't even think lowering this would really save any electricity or battery time. I don't believe so. No, we're already at 3%. So this is about to be completely dead here in a minute or less, I would say. Again, we'll take a look. It is technically boiling, but I would not have anywhere near enough time to cook my macaroni if I threw that in now. As you can see, we're at 2%. And we'll go until this turns off, so. Yeah, it's using roughly 2% per minute. We're at 4. It was 4 minutes when I said in this recording right now. I'm at 4 minutes in recording. When it was at 4%, now it's 4 minutes 50 seconds in this recording, or this segment of recording, and we're at 1%. So it uses about 4% per minute. just to cook this, or just to use the electricity. So that is very inefficient, not practical. You're not going to really be making a meal at all out of this. And I guess this is as much boiling as we'll get. So the rest of the meal will be made the old-fashioned way. We're now, see, and then another thing to keep in mind, you pour that in and it's now not even boiling once again because you reduce the temperature of the water. So it's just not a practical purpose, even though it is technically doable. Again, if you want to make just some water boiling for some instant coffee, you can do that without killing the battery. It's totally possible, but not for a larger meal. That'll do it, folks. I will show another segment at the end when the meal's fully done. But besides that, thank you for watching. Please comment, thumbs up the video, subscribe, and of course, turn notifications on so you know when another McLean 33 video comes out. Once again, shout out to Off Grid Basement for giving me this idea to make this video. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Take care and see you next time.